What is up, everyone? It's Manny Ortiz. I'm here with Julie, my model for today. The Sony 135mm 1.8 was just announced. I know what you guys are thinking. Is it better than the 85 1.4 G Master? My bread and butter? Let's find out. Shoot at f1.8 wide open. Actually, I'm gonna shoot, do this again. Yep, 2, 3, good.
The 135mm is a super sharp, crispy lens, and it also gives you a good amount of contrast in the image.
I am gonna shoot the G Master 1.4 just because, you know, shooting both lenses wide open, it makes sense. And I'm gonna replicate the frame with both lenses. 1, 2, 3, good, good. All right, so after testing out the sharpness between the 135 and the 85, this lens is considerably sharper than the 85 1.4, which wasn't too surprising to me because the 85 1.4 isn't the sharpest lens wide open. But one of the things to me, when it comes to the Sigma 135 1.8, I remember I did a review on that lens. One of the things about it that I didn't like was the bokeh. So it had a lot of football shaped bokeh on the corners of the image, and this lens touts that it doesn't have football shaped bokeh, that it has a perfect circular bokeh because it has 11 aperture blades. So let's see if that's true. I've got those lights behind her that I'm gonna put at the corner of the frame.
So even with the 11 aperture blades, the lights on the corner of the frame are not perfectly circular, but I mean, at this point, what can you do? The Sigma has the same thing, the Canon has the same thing. So I mean, I guess we're gonna have to live with it, right? All right, so this is what the 135 looks like through the viewfinder. This is what the 85 1.4 looks like. And I chose this really busy background on purpose to show you how they render the background. Now, I think the 85 wins. I think it's just softer and more pleasant, but you also have to consider the look and the compression of the image. And I prefer the 135's image and the way it compresses her features. All right, so I did another test using both lenses and I put both of them in manual focus. And I'm literally just focusing on the characteristics of the light. The reason why I'm doing this is because so many people care about this kind of stuff. When I did the Sigma video, a lot of people complained about the shapes of the lights at the corner. I'm happy to say that the Sony does improve on that, but it's still not perfect. The 85 definitely wins in this department. All right, now let's compare the autofocus performance of these lenses. The 85 1.4 in dim lighting isn't the fastest lens, and I think that the people that own this lens can back that up. It just isn't the fastest. Now, when it comes to the 135, it is a lot snappier and faster. So if I was shooting in a low light space, this would be, I'd feel more confident using the 135 over the 85mm. Now in good light, the 85 1.4 does improve, but it's still on the slower side. And I did a comparison with the 1.8 version of the 85 and it was a lot faster. The 135 you see here is super snappy and fast, locks on super fast onto my videographer. It's perfect. All right, so let me tell you some other things about this lens that are really important to mention in this video. The Sony weighs in at 33.5 ounces, which is 300 grams lighter than the Sigma version. So, I mean, you're gonna give me a lens with the same aperture, same focal length, give me the lighter one right now. Another advantage of it is that the minimum focusing distance of the Sony is 2.3 feet versus when the Sigma is 2.8 feet. Now, it doesn't make the Sony a macro lens by any means, but you can focus closer to things with the Sony, which, I mean, a slight advantage there, right? The Sony has 11 aperture blades. Obviously, Sony really cared about the background blur on the Sony version, and it shows, but again, it still suffers from that football shape on the corners. This lens does have a lot of other features. It has an AF/MF switch, it has an aperture ring, it has 2 focus hold buttons where you can go into the custom menu and map it to whatever you want, and a focus range limiter switch. It also has a weather sealing gasket on the mount, but I also think the Sigma has that as well. Now, at the end of the day, you know, if this lens is competitive, oh my god, I can't say that word, competitively. So if the Sony 135mm is priced under $2,000, I think it's a big win because the Sigma is $1,400. You're getting a lot. You're getting a lot for $1,400 with the Sigma, but it's like putting synthetic oil into your high performance engine. You know, with the Sony, paired on a Sony body, you're gonna get the best performance possible, especially with the autofocus, because Sony really paid attention on that autofocus. It has dual linear motors. They really wanted to make it super fast. With the Sigma, it is quirky, and it's like putting 10W30 in that high performance engine. You're gonna get good performance, but you're not gonna get the best. Sony didn't give us the price on the media day when we got to test out the product, but I think that if it's under $2,000, I think it's definitely worth it to buy the Sony over the Sigma. If the lens is over $2,000, I think it's gonna be kind of a tough sell, because this is kind of like this niche focal length that not too many people need. Either you get an 85 or a 70 to 200, you know what I mean? So I hope that it is under $2,000. I think that it will do really well against the Sigma, which is the biggest competitor, especially when it comes to the price. So those are my thoughts on the lens. My name is on the list. Like, they're gonna send it to me as soon as it goes out to the public or whatever, and I'm gonna be creating more content with this lens. All right, that is all I have for you guys today. Make sure to subscribe, because again, I'm more content coming on this lens, and I'll see you in the next one. It has 2 focus hold buttons that you can map with to.
What's wrong?
What happened?
I'm saying goodbye.
Oh, you gotta go? All right, come.
Are you practicing?
No, I was legit. What? You going to work?
Yeah.
All right, bye. Bye. Close that door. Thank you.